This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
We're working to connect a region of over 600 cultural bridges between our lands.
Hello, you are watching ASEAN in Focus. We're coming to you live from Manila and Bangkok, Thailand. Hello, Faye.
Hello to you, Alma, and to all our viewers. This is Faye Barta bringing you the latest news in the dynamic ASEAN region.
On today's headlines. An official of the World Health Organization has lauded the vaccination program of the Philippines as it vaccinates a significant number of vulnerable individuals, but said the country can do more, especially now that the more contagious Delta variant is fast spreading.
Indonesia's Navy said Wednesday it has seized a tanker and its crew who were wanted on charges of stealing nearly 300,000 barrels of crude oil from Cambodia's reserves.
Thai authorities were hunting a group of police officers wanted for allegedly suffocating a drug suspect to death with a plastic bag in an incident captured on camera.
The Department of Trade and Industry, or DTI, Secretary Ramon Lopez said the government and private sector are pushing for the expansion of AI technology in the country.
First, an official of the World Health Organization has lauded the vaccination here in the country as it inoculates a number of vulnerable individuals, but said the country can do more, especially now that the more contagious Delta variant is fast spreading in the country. Let's listen in.
So the Philippines is one of the countries in the regions facing this surge. Now, reported more than 1.7 million cases and suddenly more than 30,000 deaths. And it is not only in the capital, but multiple provinces experiencing surge. We call it the pulse. And in some places, they are experiencing the hospitals are overwhelmed. And then what I also wanted to share is that we heard that the healthcare workers are all really exhausted. The Philippines was one of the earliest countries to introduce public health and social measures in pandemic response. And they were able to reduce the number of cases, but also experience a negative impact on people's life. There are people who need to go for work. And it has been posing a very challenging situations. And the leaders have been making very difficult decisions. They have been adapting and then adjusting, and now put several strong measures in several places to control and reduce the transmissions again. We know lockdown alone cannot really reduce the transmission down. And so it is very important to identify and know where the infections are occurring and suppress that. And also using that information for risk-based measures so that you can effectively suppress the transmissions. And government has put in a significant effort in vaccinations. And I was very happy to hear yesterday that the vaccination coverage for the healthcare workers already reached above 95%. And for elderly, the pace is really going up and reach more than 46%. And I wanted to really encourage people to continue to get the vaccine when the turn comes to your turn. They also continue to put effort to increase the healthcare capacity to respond to the surge. And the previous wave, we have seen that they have done in a very successive way in increasing the ICU capacity so that they can accommodate all those critical cases into ICU. But what is important is actually not just the beds, but to make sure there is a doctor and nurses, and also there's sufficient equipment, and also the support to those working very hard. And together with the partners, actually WHOs are working very close with the government to support all these efforts. And Delta variant is here in the Philippines. And like other countries in the region, it is a very important moment for the Philippines. And I really wanted to encourage everybody to take their role in protecting their loved ones and also the greater community so that we can stay on course.
Now, the WHO Western Pacific head, Dr. Takeshi Kasai, also said that the Delta variant is testing public health systems worldwide. He explains on how we can contain the spread of the Delta variant. Take a look.
So the Philippines is one of the countries in the regions facing this surge. Now, reported more than 1.7 million cases and suddenly more than 30,000 deaths. And it is not only in the capital, but multiple provinces experiencing surge. We call it the pulse. And in some places, they are
All right, we'll try to be back with the right video. Let's go to another one. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris attended the launch of the regional branch of the U.S. Centers for Disease Control in Hanoi. The Vice President reinforced the United States' commitment to leading the world in ending the COVID-19 pandemic. The CDC office will advance global health security by maintaining a sustainable presence in the region, enabling a rapid and effective response to health threats where they occur. She announced new COVID-19 vaccine donations to Vietnam, critical for support and for vaccine distribution. Through the American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA, and other emergency assistance funding to date, USAID and CDC are supporting Vietnam's response to COVID-19 with an additional $23 million in technical assistance and programmatic support, bringing the total assistance provided since the start of the pandemic to nearly $44 million. This assistance will accelerate equitable access to and delivery of safe and effective COVID-19 vaccines, strengthen Vietnam's health system to respond to COVID-19, and build capacity to detect and monitor COVID-19 and future disease threats. USAID also provided the Vietnam Red Cross $1 million to reduce the impacts and prevent the spread of COVID-19 in vulnerable communities.
Now, the U.S. Vice President, who is now on a Southeast Asian tour and is now in Vietnam, repeated the concerns and she and President Biden have for the situation in Myanmar following February's coup. Let's take a look.
1 million doses. We are especially alarmed by the situation in Myanmar, where the military continues to attack healthcare professionals. President Joe Biden and I are deeply concerned by the military coup and the human rights abuses that have followed. We condemn the violence and stand with the people of Myanmar. This must end. And today we reiterate our call for an end to the violence, the release of those unjustly detained, and a swift restoration of the path to democracy.
More than 1,000 people have been killed by security forces since the coup, according to a local monitoring group, and the military says the toll is much lower. The army has justified its power grab by alleging massive fraud during 2020 elections won by Suu Kyi's National Leagues for Democracy, or NLD, in a landslide.
All right, we have an update on the CDC Center in Vietnam. Coming in live is Ralph Wandolph Empire. Hello, Ralph.
Hi there, Alpha. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, launched its Southeast Asia regional office in Hanoi on Wednesday to facilitate pandemic responses in an interconnected world. The visiting U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris arrived in Hanoi on Tuesday night for a 3-day official visit. Harris said that the U.S. wants to help improve public health infrastructure across Southeast Asia, adding that her country strongly supports ASEAN's centrality by helping member countries acquire expertise and infrastructure for dealing with COVID-19 and other pandemics in the future. Harris noted that 110 million vaccine doses have shipped out worldwide from the U.S., and more than 23 million of these have been delivered to Southeast Asia. The U.S. has also pledged $500,000 for the ASEAN COVID-19 response fund to support the purchase of more vaccines. It has provided more than $150 million in emergency assistance for the countries of this region to administer vaccines and to help patients recover, Harris said. The U.S. wants to work with ASEAN to improve readiness and response in the inevitable event of a future pandemic or another public health crisis. The opening of a regional CDC office is a true testament of the U.S. commitment to this region, she added. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky reemphasized VP Harris' statement that the U.S. and partners share the understanding that health security must be a national security priority. And given that such diseases know no borders, it is also regional security priority. I quote in a statement by Walensky, "The new office in Hanoi will be essential for global health security and help countries strengthen public health fundamentals throughout the region. It will be the hub for understanding the unique health challenges in Southeast Asia, and in doing so, will undoubtedly save many, many lives," unquote. It said priorities for the new regional office would include building tomorrow's public health workforce, expanding regional public health laboratory training, developing innovative programs to improve health for mobile and migrant populations, ensuring a coordinated response to public health emergencies through network emergency operation centers, and strengthening the early warning system for the detection of zoonotic and emerging infectious diseases. Back to you, Alma.
Thank you very much, Ralph, for your update there. And looking forward to more updates as Kamala Harris stays in Vietnam. Thank you very much.
Reporting live from Da Nang, Vietnam, I am Ralph Wandolph Empire. We live in interesting times.
Now, in other news, Myanmar's junta is considering raising village militias to combat opposition to its rule, state media said on Tuesday, as it struggles to assert control more than 6 months after seizing power. Local self-defense groups have sprung up to fight the military, often using hunting rifles or weapons manufactured at makeshift jungle factories. The groups have added to the volatile mix in Myanmar, where more than 20 ethnic rebel groups were already in various stages of conflict with the military before the coup. And the State Administration Council, as the junta dubs itself, has discussed the systematic formation of village people's militia groups or troops, and the state-backed Global New Light of Myanmar reported Tuesday. It also discussed rewards for those informing on anti-junta protesters and the effective hindering of established insurgent groups on Myanmar's fringes who are providing weapons and training, and the paper said. David Matheson, an analyst formerly based in the country or in Myanmar, told AFP it was likely or unlikely many would voluntarily sign up for any militia, given the widespread anger towards the military.
Buses with mobile vaccination services will be launched in Thailand to speed up its inoculation and curb the spread of the Delta variant. Here's Jazz Diona joining us live from Thailand. Hello, Jazz.
Yes, Alma, a mobile vaccination service in Bangkok is set to launch next week for people living in various communities, according to Police Captain Pongsakorn Kwanmawang, spokesman for the city's administration on Wednesday. The BMA targets to vaccinate as many people as it can as quickly as possible, adding that the buses will visit COVID-19 high-risk areas in Bangkok as soon as it receives the vaccines from the Ministry of Public Health. Moreover, the police captain said that the concept of mobile vaccination units have been implemented in its neighboring countries, such as China and Vietnam, and the BMA has adopted the idea for implementation in Bangkok, which will offer convenience to many people who have problems of traveling or who cannot go to the vaccination centers on weekdays. A fleet of blue buses, which has been converted into mobile vaccination units, was unveiled to the media yesterday. Each vehicle is fitted out with medical equipment, including a fridge for the storage of vaccines, first aid kits, stretchers, and a portable external defibrillator or AED. Each bus will also be staffed by doctors, nurses, and other health officials. This update is from Thai PBS. Back to you, Alma.
Thank you very much, Jazz, for your update. Stay safe.
Thank you, and likewise, reporting live from Thailand, this is Just Diana, and we live in interesting times.
In other news, Indonesia is taking its vaccination drive to the Southeast Asia as the world's biggest archipelago nation ramps up a bid to inoculate its huge population. Now, the Navy has deployed 60 boats and warships to score thousands of kilometers of coastline in the hunt for unvaccinated fishermen from westernmost Sumatra to Holiday Island, Bali, and remote Papua. Among their targets, a Navy warship deployed a flotilla of rubber dinghies with crew and vaccines aboard to jab willing fishermen in rickety boats south Sumatra at the weekend. About 1,000 seafarers have been jabbed since the nationwide program kicked off last week. Although authorities admit they don't even know how many might be out there, but some Indonesian fishermen spend weeks or even months far from the coast. Others closer to shore often leave for a week before vaccination centers open and return home after they are closed. The world's fourth most populous nation has been hammered by the coronavirus pandemic, but so far only about 12% of Indonesia's 270 million people have been fully vaccinated with 2 jabs.
A total of 362,700 doses of Pfizer coronavirus vaccine arrived in the country Wednesday night as more life-saving shots are expected to be delivered in the coming weeks. That would ensure stable supply until year-end. Air Hong Kong flight LD456 carried some 262,080 doses, which were then transported to the Pharma-Serve Express cold chain storage facility in Marikina City. Some 50,310 doses were directly unloaded in Cebu City around 5 p.m. on the same day. The same number of doses will be delivered in Davao City Thursday. Assistant Secretary Wilben Mayor, head of the National Task Force Against COVID-19 Sub-Task Force on Current Operations, said the country's Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, is now in talks with Pfizer BioNTech about about its application for the full approval for their COVID-19 vaccine. The U.S. FDA granted full approval to Pfizer BioNTech's coronavirus vaccine for people 16 and older on August 23, the first for a COVID-19 shot. Mayor said the latest Pfizer vaccine would be deployed in COVID-19 high-risk and vulnerable areas, such as the National Capital Region and Region 4A or Calabarzon, under the vaccination program's Focus and Expand strategy. And the news continues here on ASEAN in Focus. Faye and I will be back right after this break.
Factual.
We have to defeat the virus everywhere.
Timely information. Balanced, not only in the country, but also abroad.
I'm certain of one thing.
Interviews that people need to know. Watch Aguila Pilipinas. A one-hour newscast of reports coming from regional hubs in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Know the important updates in Asia in ASEAN in Focus. Track the latest stories in the provinces in Aguila Provincia. Tune into Mata ng Aguila, the evening primetime news program of Net25. Balanced and objective, Mata ng Aguila covers national and international issues, tackles news on business, health, science and technology, entertainment, sports and human interest features, and current events. And Eagle News International delivers the latest global reports, impartial, accessible, and up-to-date. It brings to fore EBC's rich international scope and access to valuable information streams.
Well, thank you to explain our health outdoor.
Catch these programs on Net25. You can also watch our news programs through eaglenews.ph and Eagle News Facebook page and YouTube channel.
Welcome back. 2 more Filipinos have safely evacuated Kabul, according to the Department of Foreign Affairs, raising the number of Filipinos able to exit Afghanistan to 185. The 2 are now in Dushanbe in Tajikistan. In its latest bulletin, the DFA also confirmed the arrival of 22 more Filipinos in Manila via Philippine Airlines flight PR721 from London, all of whom are undergoing quarantine. About 24 are still in Afghanistan, but only 16 of them have requested repatriation. The agency, meanwhile, vowed to continue exerting efforts to evacuate the remaining Filipinos there. Malaysia's new prime minister and the opposition pledged Wednesday to find common ground to tackle a coronavirus outbreak and boost the economy, seeking to ease long-running political turbulence. Ismail Sabri Yaakob was inaugurated at the weekend following the resignation of his predecessor after a tumultuous 17 months in office. The country's 4th premier in as many years, he faces the daunting task of uniting bickering politicians and reining in the country's worst COVID-19 wave yet. On Wednesday, he held discussions with opposition leaders, including Anwar Ibrahim, as they seek to put aside their differences, at least while the pandemic is raging. In a joint statement, they said the meeting focused on the people's interests in finding the best common ground in handling the COVID-19 pandemic.
Indonesia's Navy said on Wednesday it has seized a tanker and its crew who were wanted on charges of stealing nearly 300,000 barrels of crude oil from Cambodia's reserves. The Bahamian flagged Istravolos was picked up on July 27 off the coast of Sumatra, and days after Phnom Penh issued a red notice on Interpol to seize the ship over claims it stole the kingdom's crude. Now, Indonesia's Navy said it was questioning the crew of 13 Indians, 3 Bangladeshis, and a trio from Myanmar at its base near Singapore. The 183-meter or 600-foot tanker sailing from Thailand to Indonesia's Batam Island had turned off its identification system and anchored illegally in the archipelago's water. Naval authorities said its Bangladeshi captain could face up to a year in prison and a $14,000 fine if convicted on maritime violation charges, they added. And I quote, the Indonesian Navy will not hesitate to take action against any type of crimes committed within Indonesia's jurisdictional territory, end of quote. First Fleet Commander Arsyad Abdullah said in a statement. Authorities said the tanker had been rented by Singaporeans Prisoner G for storage as part of Cambodia's recent bid to extract its own oil. But the company was unable to pay its debt and filed for liquidation in June, still allegedly owing money to the tanker crew. Chip Suwor, Director General of Petroleum at the Cambodian Ministry of Mines and Energy, said the two countries were working on a plan to return the oil to Cambodia.
The Department of Budget and Management released a total of 311.79 million pesos to the Department of Health to cover the payment of the special risk allowances or SRA of public and private health workers. In a statement on Wednesday, the Budget Department said the funds will be charged from the Miscellaneous Personal Benefits Fund and unprogrammed appropriations under this year's national budget. Moreover, the DBM said the DOH shall facilitate the downloading of the funds to the DOH-retained hospitals, treatment and rehabilitation centers, private hospitals, and other COVID-19 facilities. Earlier, the Filipino Nurses United, or FNU, warned of a possible mass resignation if they still cannot receive their SRA from the DOH. In a related development on the guidelines on nurses, the DBM also released the guidelines on the upgrading of the salary grade or of Nurse 11 from salary grade or SG 15 to SG 16, and to retain the position titles of Nurse 3 to Nurse 7 with their corresponding SGs. Now, this means that Nurse 2 may now receive a monthly salary of 36,628 to 39,650 pesos, higher than his or her previous monthly salary of 33,575 to 36,323 based on the second tranche monthly salary schedule for the national government this year.
Now here in Thailand, the Thai authorities were on Wednesday hunting a group of police officers wanted for allegedly suffocating a drug suspect to death with a plastic bag in an incident captured on camera. An investigation was ordered after video footage of the incident went viral on social media. The clip shows a group of men, allegedly including the chief of a district police station in northern Nakhon Sawan province, wrapping a plastic bag around the man's head while questioning him on August 5. The footage shows that the suspect loses consciousness, and some officers tried to resuscitate him. The police investigating the case said the station chief is suspected of causing the man's death while trying to extract a 2 million baht or $60,000 bribe. 4 policemen have been arrested so far, with the remaining 3 still on the run, including the police station chief. As many as 13 officers could be involved in the case.
Institutions from the Philippines and Italy inked a memorandum of understanding for scientific and technological cooperation on liver research. The signing among the Department of Science and Technology, Philippine Council for Health Research and Development, or DOST-PCHRD, University of the Philippines, Manila, and the Fondazione Italiana Fegato was held virtually, or FIF. It was held virtually on Wednesday night. Now they will conduct scientific and technological cooperation on translational hepatology through joint research and development, capacity building, establishment of liver research program, and organization of Philippine Liver Network, among others. DOST Secretary Fortunato de la Peña said that he is confident that the collaboration could create boundless opportunities for the involved parties to share information, services, and expertise with the global community towards the prevention and treatment of liver diseases.
Now, the Philippines. More updates around the ASEAN region after the short break.
Sandali, hayaan mo magsisi sa huli. Tuwanan mo na lang pag bumalik. Kung ngayon kanyang pusuan, huwag mo na subukan.
Hello, ako po si Marisa Racal at meron akong tutuparing isang letter sender request ngayong Sabado, August 28, 1 to 2 p.m. sa Letters and Music dito lamang sa Net25. See you!
Innovation, digital disruption, globalization. Startups, micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as large corporations, all face interesting challenges in the market today. Peek into the world of exciting opportunities and partnerships to drive growth with the latest business news and information. We are open for business. Your weekly dose of entrepreneurial inspiration to update you on the latest developments in the world of business. Get up close and personal with CEOs and thought leaders to help you discover valuable insights, sharpen your instincts for smart decision making with the latest markets and economic trends, disruptive ideas, global innovation, social entrepreneurship, and other leading-edge business ideas. Join the conversations to create a more vibrant environment for entrepreneurship. Catch Open for Business, from vision to action.
Posibleng palawigin ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte ang Visiting Forces Agreement. Tumaas pa ang reproduction number ng COVID-19.
Isinagawa ang turnover ng Lingap Goodie Bag sa San Miguel, Bulacan.
Ang maghahayag ng official statement ay ang pamilya.
Hindi lang sa aspetong pang-espiritual hinahangaan ng Iglesia ni Cristo.
Mapaunlad ang kabuhayan ng mga differently abled person.
Bukod sa pagtaguyod ng wika at kulturang Pinoy,
inaasahang bababa pa ang bilang ng mga Pinoy na walang trabaho.
Sumusunod sa mga alituntuning ipinatutupad ng gobyerno bilang pag-iingat sa COVID-19.
Isa sa naging dahilan ng pagtaas ng tubig dito noong mga nakaraang araw.
Handa ng Senado at Kamara na magpasa ng mga panukalang batas.
Umunlad ang peace and order sa bansa sa panahon ng panunungkulan ni Pangulong Duterte.
May ilang nagkaroon ng Delta variant ng COVID-19 ang nabakunahan na. Magandang gabi, Pilipinas.
Welcome back to the program. The Philippines now become more attractive to European investors as the coronavirus disease 2019 or COVID-19 cases surge in other Southeast Asian countries, while these are also experiencing political instability, a foreign chamber executive said. Lars Wittig, the new president of European Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines or ECCP, said that the long lockdown measures in the country have been imposed amid the threats of the faster spreading Delta variant. Wittig said, unlike other Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN that become agile in locking down and opening again, the Philippines community quarantine measures show added success with the current wave of COVID-19 cases that is suffocating most of our neighboring countries. As of Tuesday, Indonesia still has the highest number of active COVID-19 cases at 273,750, followed by Malaysia with 262,713, Vietnam with 195,178, Thailand with 192,334, the Philippines with 127,703, and Myanmar with 58,925. Active cases in Laos rose to 4,259 on Tuesday, and Cambodia has 2,156 active cases. Brunei with 1,508, and Singapore has the lowest active cases at 826. Although the Philippine government's lockdown measures remain restrictive, the ECCP president said the private sector appreciated the added mobility during this year's enhanced community quarantine or EZQ status. Aside from the manageable COVID-19 cases in the country, despite the threats of Delta variant, he said that the political stability in the Philippines is an attractive factor for European firms to invest in the Philippines.
The processing of artificial intelligence is expected to be an emerging industry for the Philippines following the growth of the business processing sector or BPO sector in the past decades. Reporting to President Duterte during the talk to the nation on Tuesday night, Department of Trade and Industry or DTI Secretary Ramon Lopez said the government and private sector are pushing for the expansion of AI technology in the country. Take a look.
Maiba lang ako ng konti, sa unang pagkakataon, ang Pilipinas ay nagkaroon din ng tinatawag na AI or Artificial Intelligence Roadmap. Ito po yung mga usapin ngayon sa mga technology. Nilunsad po ito ng DTI noong Mayo at hindi lamang malalaking kumpanya ang makikinabang dito. Kaya natin tinutulak ito kasi gusto natin pati micro SME ay makikinabang dito. In other words, big companies will not have the monopoly of AI. Ang AI ay isang teknolohiya na magagamit ng kahit anong kumpanya, lalo na SME, sa pag-process ng kanilang mga information. Kunwari, alamin nila sa farmers, anong magandang itanim sa anong lugar, sa anong buwan. Sa mga kumpanya, saan ako mas magandang mag-put up ng next branch ko. All this information will be processed. Hindi na siya kukumputin pa ng tao. AI na yung nagko-compute nun. Sa central bank din, imbis na 50,000 man-hours ang gagawa ng mga pag-analyze ng financial statement, ngayon minuto na lang dahil po dyan sa AI na yan. So, ang gagawin po natin, ngayon po, ang dami na naming nakausap dito at i-incorporate po natin dahil nag-uusap po kami ni Secretary Dominguez, maganda ho itong AI ay gawing private sector-led, government-initiated, at i-involve natin maraming kumpanya at saka kasama rin ng DOST sa mga usapan na to at magkaroon tayo ng isang National Center for AI Research. Ang technology partner natin dito, yung AIM, yung Asian Institute of Management Data Science Laboratory. In the near future, magiging big data AI processing hub na rin ng Pilipinas. Itong nakikita natin na next center for excellence. After BPO, kasi sikat ng Pilipinas ngayon BPO. Ito ang magiging next BPO natin, yung AI Center for Research Center. At ibig sabihin, mas maraming magpapagawa ng AI analysis sa Pilipinas as our service gamit ang AI. At syempre, ito pong AI research ay higit makakatulong sa pagtulong sa mga kumpanyang maging mas competitive at efficient ang kanilang operations. At ang maganda ho talaga dito, kaya ho government ang tumutulak, kasi as we provide those research projects, ang natitrain nito, data scientists from universities, na may trabaho sila, sinasagot nila yung industry problem with an AI solution. So makaka-develop tayo ng maraming data scientists. At eventually, ito po ay katatayo rin ng mga AI companies nila or i-hire sila ng mga kumpanya. So mga high-tech jobs ang mapoproduce nito. Data scientists, dahil masasanay silang mag-solve ng mga problema ng mga industry problems. No?
The ASEAN, or Association of Southeast Asian Nations, and senior economic officials, or SEOM, met with Deputy Assistant U.S. Trade Representative AUSTR for Southeast Asia and Pacific, Marta Prado, for the 33rd SEOM AUSTR Dialogue Partner Consultations on August 14, 2021 via video conference. And the Philippines was represented by Department of Trade and Industry Secretary, or DTI Secretary, Alan B. Gepti. At the SEOM AUSTR consultations, officials finalized the 2021 to 2022 ASEAN-US Trade and Investment Framework Arrangement, or TIFA, and expanded economic engagement, or E3 work plan, which will facilitate implementation of cooperation initiatives to support the region's post-pandemic economic recovery efforts, including in the areas of digital economy, micro, small, and medium enterprises, or MSMEs, sustainable development, trade facilitation, labor and environment, among others. Gepti said the Philippines welcomes the continued engagement and developments of initiatives between ASEAN and US, particularly in the areas of digital trade, transparency, and good regulatory practices, MSME development, trade facilitation, and the ASEAN single window. These are important areas of cooperation, especially in the post-pandemic period. During the SEOM AUSTR consultations, Assistant Secretary Gepti also emphasized that with the current challenges and the evolving business environment, cooperation activities and the trade rules must keep abreast with recent developments and must remain relevant. The ASEAN-US trade and economic relations is guided by the TIFA included in August 2006, which serves as a mechanism to strengthen ASEAN-US trade and economic ties. The finalized 2021-2022 work plan will be submitted to economic ministers at the ASEAN Economic Ministers United States Trade Representative AEM USTR consultations in September 2021 for endorsement and subsequent implementation.
Thank you, Faye, for keeping me company today. By the way, how is the situation there in Thailand? Can you update us a little bit on your situation there? I'm just, care about how you guys are.
I'm not actually living in the main city or the city center. I actually live nearby provinces. However, it will just take me like 30 minutes to go there. Now, here in my place, or here in the Patumtani province, you can actually still see some, or maybe we can say some people roaming around because they still need to buy some food in the market and in the wet market also. And however, we can still see some practicing the strict measures or the health protocols that are being implemented by the government.
Are you in a lockdown right now or not really? What is what measures are in place right now in your area only?
Yeah, here in our area, because this area is included in the dark red zone. And when we say dark red zone, Alma, for the benefit of others, it is highly controlled, and it is highly controlled by the government. And you are not very much, or no activities, not much activities that you can do. More than 5 people is really banned. Or you cannot really do that kind of activity. And if you are less than 5, you can group yourself with that. But however, based on the people, or based on the place that we are in here, I think they are just doing like virtual activities just like this.
Work from home, you mean?
Work from home. It's being implemented in different parts of Thailand.
What about your groceries, your food? Do you have enough? Can you order food from outside? Can you have it? I'm sure it's you can have it delivered to you.
Yeah, you know, Alma, the online purchases is very popular nowadays, especially here in Thailand, and many people really love food. However, we do not do the online purchases much often, or much of the time, because we just want to stay here, and we just want to cook here because my family members are here also. However, if we want to eat some Thai food, we do that. But we really need to follow strict strict health measures, like washing our hands and some other stuff. However, Alma, some other Thais, because here in our place, it's like a village that you can see many people, and it's like you're going to be updated with the activities that they have. They really love ordering food online.
Okay, that's good.
It's just my, it's just my own standpoint, because I could.
That's what you see.
Yeah, it's what we can see. And here in our village, or here in our condo, we have a Facebook page, or it's a page on social media. You can see many people in there. They are posting some where you
guys can get food and cook together or something like that.
Yes, exactly, Alma. So even if you're here at home, staying at home, and if you feel hungry, you can immediately just grab food with them.
Okay, that's good. But you know what, Faye? I think Ralph is joining us live right now. I think he has some information on how their situation is in Da Nang, Vietnam. Hello, Ralph. Okay, we're waiting for Ralph to get connected. I think he's going to update us on the situation in Da Nang, Vietnam, on how they are coping with the situation right now. Okay, we'll go take a break, and then we'll be back with Ralph. As soon as we get a better connection with him, we'll be right back.
Isn't it ironic? It's like praying on your wedding day. It's a free ride when you've already paid. It's a good advice that you just didn't take. And who would have thought it figures?
Hi guys! Ako si Claire Maaba at abangan niyo po ako bilang guest performer sa hashtag Letters and Music ngayong linggo, August 29, 1 to 2 p.m. dito lamang sa Net25. See you!
Malalayong lugar ang kanilang narating para maghanap buhay.
tulungan ang pamilyang iniwan sa sariling bayan. Yan ang ating mga overseas Filipino worker. Pero dahil sa di pangkaraniwang pangyayaring hatid ay krisis, may ilan sa kanilang nagpasyang umuwi. Pinagyaman ang sariling lupain, nagtayo ng negosyo na kasama sa puhunan ang sipag at tiyaga. Ang mga OFW, maraming sakripisyo, ninanais maging kapaki-pakinabang maging sa kanilang pagbabalik bansa. Sapagkat ang ating mga bagong bayani, Pilipino pa rin sa puso at damdamin.
All right, welcome back. And joining us live right now is our EBC correspondent, Ralph Wandolph Empire from Da Nang, Vietnam. Hello, Ralph. Good to have you back.
Hi there. Apologies for earlier. I got disconnected. Well,
Yes.
here in Da Nang, we're doing fine. Although, to be perfectly honest, it's been a tough time because all establishments have been closed for more than a week now, and we're not allowed to go out due to the strict lockdown, which has been going for more than 2 weeks now, and has been extended for another 10 days. We are allowed to order foods online, but unfortunately, we can't still go out.
Okay. Last night we were talking about, you are allowed food, to order food or groceries online, but then you have a friend or someone you know that, you can order food, but then they come in very late or it's very expensive. Can you run that down to me again? Yeah.
That happened. One expat posted on Facebook sharing his experience about that incident, wherein he ordered from this company. Just forgot the name of the company. Wherein he was asked to pay money up front. Yeah, but it took a week for him to receive the grocery items. And to be fair, I think this is not happening to all expats here in Vietnam, because some of the Vietnamese landlords are very careful, are very caring to their tenants. So obviously, we are being assisted by our landlords. And from what I've heard, the instructions here in Da Nang were not clear. I mean, the instructions coming from the government, because they're all printed and being posted online in Vietnamese language. So we still have to ask, help from our Vietnamese friends, and even Vietnamese citizens find it quite confusing. To understand the new rules by the government, and everyone is struggling, to be fair. And I would say that they don't want this situation, but then they're just trying to be careful, and they just want to contain the virus, obviously.
But you said sometimes the food come in really late, and
well, I think that happened. Yeah, that happened once, but I know some experts can still order online and they can still get it right away. But because I believe this is the first time that it happened in Da Nang, wherein all establishments have been closed and they just reopened a few days ago. So there's a lot of people ordering online. Although Lazada, Shopee, and these establishments have been open ever since, and I myself have experienced ordering food online, and it's fine. There's no issue with that. But because of the current situation we're in, the government asked all stores, establishments to be closed for more than a week, and then after some time, after a few days, they were asked to reopen again. So I think everyone is really struggling with the new normal.
And there's also a dilemma, I think, with the expats, or you said those who are stuck there, the foreigners who are stuck there, who can't leave, but they are asked to leave by the government. So can you tell me more about this?
Well, it started last year, Alma. There were a lot of, I just can't give you the exact figure, the exact number of expats who already left, and some of them were deported already because they can, the government, the immigration department, the Vietnamese immigration was not able to give them or decline their visa extensions.
Okay.
Many of them were working here illegally, and many of them were just staying here for leisure purposes. But then they were not granted new tourist visas, so that's why they were forced to leave the country. It's just really sad for them because they didn't want to overstay, but because of the current situation now, there are no flights. Although these airlines are advertising flights online, but then they will just cancel it at the very last minute. So they don't have a choice but to stay here in the country. And even their embassies, I'm not saying all embassies, but most of the embassies I heard are not able to help.
What about religious services? How is it over there?
Well, it is really interesting to talk about because a lot of members of Evacuation here in Da Nang, in Ho Chi Minh, and in Hanoi, even though it's a very difficult situation, but they're still able to perform their duties in the church. They're still able to worship God, although it's just a virtual ceremony.
That's good. That's good to know. So you have enough supply of food there, Ralph? I know you're on a diet, but
well, Alma.
Situation of our.
I run out of supplies. To be honest, I ran out of supplies already. But it's a good thing that the government here checks our situation every day. So they give us like some few vegetables every day, which for me it's fine. It's better than nothing. And I can cook. I have everything in my house except food right now. So
that's good to know.
I and my landlord are we have been talking about our plans how to order foods because we know the dilemma that what I've shared to you a while ago, and we're scared that we will pay money, but there's no assurance we will get the food right away.
Okay.
So,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ralph, for your updates there, and looking forward to. I hope you get your food right away, and so you can cook. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your updates there, Ralph. Stay safe.
Thank you. You too.
And now joining us live, I hope Faye is with us because you have your friend here, Jazz, from our EBC Thailand Bureau. Jazz, come in, please.
Hello, good afternoon, Alma.
Hello, Jazz. Can you tell us what's happening and can you give more information about from what was Faye saying earlier? Faye said dine-in of 5 persons only. Is that right? Where are you staying right now first? Where are you? What part?
I'm staying in one of the district in Bangkok. So I'm staying in Bangkok. So I'm part of those, like what Sister Faye is saying, I'm part of the
red zone?
The population with the dark red zone, yes.
Oh. So is red zone different from the dark red zone?
The dark red zone, yes.
Oh, okay. That's just one. Okay. So what measures are imposed on your area, Jazz?
So we still follow the curfew, which is everyone should be back home by 9 p.m. Yes. So we still follow those curfew and yeah.
Grocery supplies. Do you have enough food like Ralph? Ralph just ran out of food. But how about you? How is your supply over there and our kababayans, if you know anything?
Oh, it was a good thing that Thailand's online service is really up to date.
Yes.
So we can order online, even with the groceries. So we have Happy Fresh, Tesco, Lotus, and Big C. Those are one of the biggest supermarkets here, or grocery stores here in Thailand. So we could order groceries from there, so necessities and essentials from there. So I'm glad that I'm not able to run out of groceries. Although we have to order, I think ahead because it usually arrives after 3 days.
Okay, I know Bangkok is a very busy city. Can you give us a picture on how Bangkok looks like right now?
Yes,
with the measures in place, of course.
Yes, before Bangkok is a living tapestry. Everyone is moving. But right now, if you go to the main city, there is no traffic.
Really?
And, yes,
wow.
And And even in the public transportation, like BTS or MRT, most of the times, the most busiest stations, they're also empty, and it's like no one is using the MRT because mostly are working from home.
Okay. So, how do you find it? Do you like it like that, or do you like it busy in Bangkok?
I think there are advantages and disadvantages in this situation, yes. And for me, of course, I always choose to see the silver lining in every situation. So just try to look at the advantage of what's happening right now in Bangkok.
That's right. But no traffic, that is good. Thank you very much, Jazz. I wish we had more time to talk, but thank you very much for your updates there in Bangkok. Stay safe, as always. Thank you, Jazz. And of course, Faye, come in. Thank you very much for joining me today and for keeping me company as always.
Thank you also, Alma. You stay safe there also
thank you.
In the Philippines. I think the cases also there are getting higher.
True.
Take care. And everyone also there in the Philippines. And that's how we wrap up our news for today. This is Faye Barton once again from EBC Thailand Bureau. We live in interesting times.
And we'll see you back tomorrow. I'm Alma Angeles. We live in interesting times.